We're supposed to be the big bad dog. Let's do it today. Let's stand out. Let's stand out for every man next to you. It gotta mean something. It gotta mean something. If we want to go somewhere, we gotta do it today. We gotta do it today. Let's go. Let's go, baby. All in, all out, baby. All in. Win on three. 1, 2, 3, win.
Yo, 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 what's up, what's up? I'm back, Wolfing on the recaps, ready to discuss Week 12 versus Saints. Interesting game. Now, obviously, it was a short week for the team. They went to Colorado Springs to practice, then they went to Mexico, and then they flew back from Mexico to home. They took some time off for Thanksgiving. They practiced Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the day before the game, before they played this game. The offense only managed to score 13 points. Well, 7 points, touchdown, 2 field goals by special teams. They did have another touchdown that was called back due to holding, which that call was horrific. That was terrible. I mean, the guy was holding George Kittle like this on his shoulder pads, and all George Kittle did was, like, the guy's arm that was holding him, he had his hand laying on it like this, and they're like holding because the running back ran by him. The other side, like, that ain't holding. Come on now. There was a lot of weird things, calls that didn't get called, things that got called that probably shouldn't have got called. It was. The Niners were battling the Saints and the refs. The refs were trying their darndest to ensure that somehow the Saints were going to score points and maybe even win the game. But that defense, for the most part, they weren't perfect. They definitely gave up some yardage they shouldn't have. Andy Dalton with 4 rushes for 21 yards. He was a leading rusher, and 21 yards isn't a lot. But for a guy like him, who isn't really technically a mobile quarterback, to give up even that many yards, which doesn't sound like a lot, was weird. There was some of the plays they were giving up. It just, I don't know, it just was weird. But and they obviously they let the Saints get down into the red zone 4 times. They missed a field goal and they went for it, on 4th down and things like that a few times, at least twice, and got stopped both times. Plus the fumble on the one drive where they were right down there, which was crazy. That happened. Normally on Sundays, especially, that's why I hate late games. My son comes to visit on Friday nights, and then he goes back Sunday. I usually drop him off around 7 p.m. So when the game is at 4:25 or 4 o'clock, I watch the first half, and then when halftime hits, me and my girlfriend go to bring him back. My girlfriend drives, and I watch the game on my phone. So I'm doing that. I'm watching it, and we arrive at my son's house, his mom's house, and I'm getting out of the car to give him a hug to say goodbye because he's going to go in the house, and that's the moment that whole weird sequence went, where it was what was it, thrown to Kamara, and then Kamara gets stopped and he's held up, but he's not fully tackled, and then Hufanga comes in and knocks the ball out, and the ball goes up in the air, and Jimmy Ward swings at it, and it goes back, and their tight end tries to grab it, but then it falls forward again, and then we jump on it. I had no idea what was happening because I'm holding my phone and I'm looking at my son, and all I hear is not only that I did not know it. Of course, I'm watching it on Patreon with Nothing But Niners and Wayne, and they all have separate TVs where the game's ahead. So they see it before it even happens, even on the phone itself, on the stream that I'm watching. and they're going crazy. They're like, yes. They're like, no. They're like, yeah. And it's like, what in the world is going on? I didn't know what was going on. It was crazy. But the game was crazy. It was interesting. I liked seeing Tyrann Mathieu tipped a pass in the end zone, and Jauan Jennings caught it while he was on the ground. That was pretty cool. The Mitchell run, which ended up getting called back, was cool. I mean, and a lot of the stuff the defense was doing, it was great to see. It was crazy for me though. But what really counts is us not letting them score and us winning the game. And that's what happened. It was a win, and I'm glad. It was our 7th win on the season. 7-4. First place in the NFC West. All the other teams in the NFC West lost this past week, except for us. We're 4-0 in the division, 7-4 on the season total, and first place in the NFC West. It's awesome. Do we have room for improvement? Do we got to clean some stuff up? Of course we do. I mean, we're about to play the Miami Dolphins this upcoming Sunday. And of course, what happens on the weekend, this past weekend, pretty much the week before we're about to play them, this stuff comes out about Mostert pretty much saying stuff and all this other stuff. I thought I heard Wilson may have agreed or something, or I don't know. Honestly, I saw the story about it. I didn't really read fully into it. Saw the quote, whatnot. And I'm thinking to myself, isn't this the same guy that bounced around the league for like 7 years and nobody wanted him? And the same guy that came to the 49ers and they gave him a chance to play running back, even though he really was just a special teams guy. And then he blew up. And then when he blew up, he complained that he wanted more guaranteed money, and we gave him more guaranteed money. The same guy that before all that happened, he broke his arm running, and we waited for him to come back, stuck by him and brought him back in again. And, that's cool. If you're happy being on the Dolphins, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Do you really have to say anything bad about the team you came from? Oh, well, this team does this better. This team, is it necessary? You could just say, well, I enjoyed my time in San Francisco and now here in Miami, and I love it here. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, whatever. But, in the end, he may have to see us, although I hear he's injured again. So he may not even play in this upcoming game against us. So it may not even matter. But it's just funny how that came out and right before we're going to play them. But really the story is the Niners, they only scored 13 points, but it was enough because the Saints scored 0. And they had opportunities. They missed a field goal. There was 3 points right there they could have easily gotten. And then fumbling and going for it and not getting it. I mean, it is what it is. And you could say, and I've been hearing it. I've been hearing a lot of people say, 13 points against the Dolphins, it's not going to cut it. Well, if how many points you scored the week before had anything to do with the current week, then shouldn't we have scored 38 points since that's what we scored last week? Or in the Cardinals game, should we have scored the same amount of points we scored against the Chargers previously? You see where I'm going with this? I get it. They're a better offense than the Saints. They have more stars for sure. Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Tua's playing well. Jeff Wilson Jr. is doing well there. Mostert, when he's not hurt, does well there. They got people, and I understand where they're coming from. I understand why they're saying, got to score more points. But we also got to kind of stop them too, don't we? I mean, we do have, quote unquote, the number one defense right now, right? So, that means they have to score on us as well as we need to score on them. And their defense isn't bad either, from what I saw. I haven't really watched them. I've seen bits and pieces of Miami here and now throughout the year, but nothing major. I haven't really paid attention. I know their record's decent, They're playing well for the most part. Everyone's worried. Everyone's like, hey, it's Mike McDaniels, blah, 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 blah. Some people think Mike McDaniels was a genius. Some people think that Michael Daniels is the reason why we did as well as we did up until this point. I mean, I don't know. It's easy to make that claim when you see him on a different team and they're winning. If they're finding ways to win or they're scoring a bunch of points, their offense is really good. It's easy to say that. I mean, we don't really know. And they may not be able to do that against us. Or they may easily be able to do that against us. I mean, we just got to do what we got to do. It's plain and simple. We got to go out there and we got to do what we got to do. This past week, we won. We did what we needed to do. This week, we hope to do better and do more. Unfortunately, we did have some injuries, but there's still opportunities there for us to do something. And I hope we do, and I think we will. I mean, it is what it is, but I have faith. I'm a 49er fan. I have faith in my team, and I'm not saying anybody else doesn't, because even the people saying that we need to score more than 13 points probably believes in their team too. They're just saying that they don't believe scoring only 13 points is going to be enough to defeat the Dolphins. But if the Dolphins only score 10, then it is. But we don't know. We hope our defense can go out there and keep on shutting teams down, and we hope that our offense could go out there and put points on the board to make it harder on the other team to try to come back, if that's the case, to beat us. And I get it. I understand. It makes perfect sense. But we won 13-0. Boom. All right. That's what happened. We now have to win again. However, any means possible, whatever the case may be. If it's we blow them out, we barely beat them, as long as we win, that's what we need to do. And we need to just keep doing that. We have 2 more divisional games left. If we can win both those games, it goes 6-0 in the division. That would be outstanding. I would love it. I think most of y'all would love it too, if you're Niner fans, of course. If you're not, then and you probably want us to crash and burn and fail and not win another game the rest of the season. Don't see that happening, but But yeah, I was happy they won. I took my victory shot on Nothing But Niners last night. I watched Nothing But Niners until about 10 o'clock. It's late for me normally, especially during the week. Although it's weird on Sunday going into Monday, because sometimes I kind of sleep in during the weekend, or at least I try to. And so I could stay up a little bit longer on a Sunday, but then I'm tired on Monday, and then I start the whole thing over again. Here I am on Victory Monday, talking about the game and how we won, and yeah, that's where I am. But yeah, I just hope we can keep going. We can keep stopping. We don't have to shut everybody out, but make it so they don't score enough points to beat us. We score enough points, and even if we only score very little points, that we still win because we stop the other team from scoring more points than us. Of course, I prefer to go out there and just put up a bunch of points, and then it doesn't really matter at that point. As long as we can keep them from catching up, as long as it doesn't become an offensive shootout and there's no defense and everyone's just scoring points at will, that would be a problem. But I mean, if we score points and we can minimize the amount of points the other team scores, it's helpful. I wish every game could be 38-10 or 50-10 or whatever. Or that every game we could pitch a shutout. We score however many points we score, but the other team scores nothing. It'd be awesome. I just don't see that happen. Will our shutting teams out in the second half continue? I don't know. I really don't know. It almost seems like we're starting another trend because we pitched a shutout in the first half. But I don't know. We start slow, so it's really hard for us to do that. I think it's just, I don't know, something. We weren't really following on cylinders on offense, and the defense was just there. They say defense travels, although we were home, but I'm saying we were coming back from being away, and which I think, somewhat affected the offense. But like I said, we won. That's the most important part. We won the game, 13-0, and we move on to play the Dolphins and hopefully win that game. All right. Well, I guess I'll talk to you next week. Hopefully, it'll be another victory that I'll be talking about. But even if it's not, I'm here to recap the games regardless if we win or lose. So if we lose, I'll be here to recap the game and be like, man, why didn't we do this? Why would we, whatever. All right. Peace. Stay woke. Thanks, y'all.